there's not much you can do. Normally, it would really suck, because you don't want to have to blow your TP before he's got raiders and such out. If he can force you to use a TP when all he's got are grunts, then that usually means it's very, very plausible that he's going to jack you again with raiders and just kill off like 8 fiends, and you're just going to lose the game. But that's not what's going to happen in this game. So as soon as the Lich comes out, he got his Acolyte, and he's moving on out. Notice he didn't even wait for the statue. He's just got 5 fiends. He brought 3 of his ghouls, left 1 on lumber. Since he's got like 400 now, he's fine. And so right here you've got Frost Armor out, and you've got 3 extra ghouls. Those extra ghouls are goddamn crucial. Like, I think Lucifron tried to fight that there. Because normally the Orc could fight this. He's got a Raider out, he's got a Shadow Hunter, but although the Blade Master's not level 3, he's got damn good items. But I think what he didn't really realize is that those ghouls out there, they literally do turn the tide of battle. It's not quite as good as being in your base, but it's the next best thing. And so you show up at the Orc base, and usually you're going to throw up 2 towers. And that's because you're going to need to get a Nerubian and a Spirit Tower, and you don't really necessarily need more than 2 to go up initially, and I think 2 is all he's going to get this game. So one of the things about this strategy that's really nice is if he attacks your fiends, notice that whatever he attacks, like just Frost Armor it, like the DK is in a bad position here. He's actually going to go down, but the thing is, like, it's hard for the Orc to find a good target to attack. Like, if he goes after your fiends, then the towers will go up. If he goes after the towers, then your fiends just kill off his whole army. Like, he doesn't have much of a tier 2 advantage, you know. All he's got are 2 raiders, and Ensnare doesn't really do shit, because you're not trying to run away, you're fucking sitting in his base. So, he just lost both his heroes, but the tower is going up. And you will see how much this tower rapes. The whole point of this strategy is, undead bases, as we all know, are really powerful. Why is that? Well, because the Nerubian Towers and the extra 3 ghouls that they've got sitting there that can kick your ass. But this strategy basically just picks the Orc's weakest point and brings those units to the Orc's base. I mean, you'll have games where you lose your hero, and depending on the situation, you either Tavern Res or you Altar Res. In this case, he's going to just Altar Res and try to run him back once he comes out. But as soon, the whole point is, as soon as you get that Nerubian Tower up, that Orc is fucked. Like, unless he's got demos pumping, that Orc is going to be fucked. He's screwed. He's going to lose the game. Why is that? It's because the Nerubian Tower just owns the Blade Master, dude. Once that Blade Master is out, once that Blade Master is colded, he does, just so much less damage. He becomes balanced almost, and it's bizarre, you know. You're not used to seeing a balanced Blade Master, but it happens, dude. That's what this strategy does. It's like the Nerubian Tower is the great equalizer. So even without a hero, just by having these 2 towers here, and because he's got those extra 3 ghouls, which by the way are raping face, he's able to easily hold off until his Death Knight gets back. The Death Knight's going to get level 3 in a second here. No, he's not going to go after that grunt. But here's the thing, right? Is notice how Lucifron is going back and running his army away and healing? Dude, that's going to happen, but don't even worry about it, right? Because you're just sitting here blowing up his damn base. That's kind of the thing about this strategy, and I was talking to who was that? I think it was it was either Isis or Ilmatic, one of my 2 undead Gosu friends. Basically, he was telling me, I was having some trouble versus Orc, and I was talking to him a bit, and he's like, well, you know, just by putting any damage on any units, that damage is pretty much going to stay there, because he can't afford to just run away and heal. He can't afford to sit that grunt in the back of his base and let it heal. Because if he does, then the towers are going to go up. That's why you see Orcs panicking. They bring their whole army. They'll bring all their peons off to go fight you off, which is pretty much the right thing to do, I think. I mean, I don't really know the exact perfect way to counter this from the Orc perspective, but pretty much in my experience, stalling the towers a bit while getting demos out is the most effective counter. But I mean, look at this. Lucifron is screwed. As soon as those towers got up, his army was unable to fight the undead. Oh man, I'm stuttering like a bitch here. I haven't done this commentary thing in a while. Please excuse my ineptitude. I'm sure I'll be doing better by the end of this damn thing. But I mean, he doesn't even bother with more than 2 towers. Because he doesn't need to. With those 2 towers alone, and the blight regen, and the extra firepower of the ghouls and the skeletons, the orc isn't really going to be doing anything that's able to stop this. I think what did work against Lucifer in this game is that he took tier 3 very quickly, and while it was nice to get the orb on his Blade Master, I mean, it didn't really do too much, because one of the reasons that the orb owns undead so much is because if you didn't know, orb effects happen before any sort of damage is calculated. Same thing with the orb of corruption, venom, and lightning. So what that means is the orb of lightning's chance to purge goes off before his actual attack connects with a unit. It sucks to get the fiend picked off. Don't worry about this. It's not a big deal. If you see the orc coming to your base, by the way, I actually lost a game because of that a while ago. Like a game that I completely won, to the point where I was asking the host to kick the other player, and I just stopped playing. And then he pushed my base and wiped it out, and I didn't really know what the hell to do. And my Death Knight was dead, and I didn't have lumber to tavern res him. It just went downhill. But yeah, if you see the orc pushing your base, just upgrade towers. That's all you got to do to get him to go away. Just watch it. As soon as those spirit towers go up, he's just gonna run away. What was I talking about? I was talking about something important. Something important. Wow. How did I forget that? Oh, orb. That's right. One of the reasons the orb rapes so much is basically if he attacks a frost armored unit, and the orb of the purge happens before, on the first hit, he's not even going to be slowed, not at all. So the orb, while it's kind of nice, it didn't actually do much because he was already getting slowed by the Nerubian tower. So that little purge ownage didn't really come into play necessarily as much as it normally would. So, I mean, look at how many fiends he's got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Is that 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I can't count. I'm a retard. He's got the 4 thing. I mean, really, all he's going to do is whack on this base here. He sees the expansion going up. But, I mean, why go run across the map away from the safety of your towers to take down a hall when you're going to take down a hall right here? He's playing this fine. I would recommend putting up tower once you've pretty much won the fight at his base. Put up at least 1 tower in your main, just as a precaution. A friend of mine was saying you should put fiends in your base. I don't really think you should. I mean the fiends, let the towers stand still in your base. Just don't leave fiends in your base. Bring them to your army. That's awesome. So a lot of you guys may have seen the Yane vs. Who replays, where Yane beat Who with a tower push very similar to this, except he used his tower push was slightly later, and he waited for a statue and actually a banshee to come out before he went ahead and pushed. I'm not necessarily I sure which is stronger. The banshee is once again another one of those little items that's meant to counter the Blade Master. Curse makes him miss 33% of the time, and missing a critical is always very entertaining, and I'm sure if I were an orc player, I would rage about it. It's a bitch move. But yeah, so, you're not an idiot. You can tell that this game is pretty much fucking over. He built 2 crypts in his base. What's that about? I mean, at this point, you could go and expand the orc space. That's fine. You don't even need to, but you can. I would recommend it at about this point getting a shade, just to play on the safe side. If he's hanging around, he might have snuck an expansion somewhere, or even a second one that you don't know about. So I would say just to be safe, get a shade. And just don't do anything risky. Don't charge into his army if it's questionable whether or not you can beat him outside the towers. Keep a TP on your Death Knight, I would say, unless if you're Ted. But I mean, just orc. Since they have the Purge Orb and Ensnare and Hex, it's just not really safe. So I would say that even though Ted looks like he's really got this game won, and he does. in your own games, I would advise you to err extremely far on the side of caution, just for the sake of the fact that you are playing against an orc, and they've got so many disables, including Hex, which prevents you from being able to use items. So,